first in action, now stepping back to make sense of it all. Counterpoint, then, is the rhythm of this book, conversation its tone, a dialogue in which we now invite our listeners to join. Authors usually come to such an inquiry with a bias. We seem to have had several. One of us was trained in psychology, the other in philosophy. One has had experience as a therapist, the other in politics. Both of us have been deeply influenced by spiritual practice and the teachings of the world's religions, all of which emphasize service. We honor and draw from these traditions, although what we have to share should be accessible to those who follow none. Many perspectives as well as many voices, then, sound through this book. Perhaps this is appropriate, for it is our hope that this book might be useful to everyone. How much time, after all, does each and every one of us spend helping and being helped? The forms may vary. The helping professions, self-help groups, service as religious practice, movements for social change, voluntary service. A 1983 Gallup poll found that 55% of all Americans spend at least a few hours volunteering to assist neighbors and communities. But how could any poll measure common courtesies, thoughtful gestures, the simplest moments of human affirmation? We have resolved to consider what is common to all these forms. Seeking to care for others, each of us inevitably faces certain fundamental challenges. These are what draw us to explore the very heart of helping. We offer this book, then, with great respect for the work each listener is already embarked upon. 1. Natural compassion. I was in about 40 feet of water, alone. I knew I should not have gone alone, but I was very competent and just took a chance. There was not much current, and the water was so warm and clear and enticing. But when I got a cramp, I realized at once how foolish I was. I was not very alarmed, but was completely doubled up with stomach cramp. I tried to remove my weight belt, but I was so doubled up I could not get to the catch. I was sinking and began to feel more frightened, unable to move. I could see my watch and knew that there was only a little more time on the tank before I would be finished with breathing. I tried to massage my abdomen. I wasn't wearing a wetsuit, but couldn't straighten out and couldn't get to the cramped muscles with my hands. I thought, I can't go like this. I have things to do. I just couldn't die anonymously this way, with no one to even know what happened to me. I called out in my mind, "Somebody, something, help me." I was not prepared for what happened. Suddenly, I felt a prodding from behind me under the armpit. I thought, oh no, sharks. I felt real terror and despair, but my arm was being lifted forcibly. Around into my field of vision came an eye, the most marvelous eye I could ever imagine. I swear it was smiling. It was the eye of a big dolphin. Looking into that eye, I knew I was safe. It moved farther forward, nudging under, and hooked its dorsal fin under my armpit with my arm over its back. I relaxed, hugging it, flooded with relief. I felt that the animal was conveying security to me, that it was healing me as well as lifting me toward the surface. My stomach cramp went away as we ascended, and I relaxed with security, but I felt very strongly that it healed me too. At the surface, it drew me all the way in to shore. It took me into water so shallow that I began to be concerned for it, that it would be beached, and I pushed it back a little deeper, where it waited, watching me, I guess to see if I was all right. It felt like another lifetime. When I took off the weight belt and oxygen, I just took everything off and went naked back into the ocean to the dolphin. I felt so light and free and alive, and just wanted to play in the sun and the water in all that freedom. The dolphin took me back out and played around in the water with me. I noticed that there were a lot of dolphins there, farther out. After a while, it brought me back to shore. I was very tired then, almost collapsing, and he made sure I was safe in the shallowest water. Then he turned sideways with one eye looking into mine.